The Waqf debate that is expected in the Rajya Sabha after being cleared by the Lok Sabha. Do remember that the Waqf bill has now finally got its nod from the Lok Sabha after that marathon 12-hour debate in the Lok Sabha. The bill cleared with 288 votes in favour. The opposition, however, has gone on to say that the Waqf bill is unconstitutional. The government has gone on to say that the Waqf bill is pro-Muslims. We did hear the opposition coming down heavily, criticising, talking about how the Waqf bill is, it's unconstitutional, it's not part of the constitution and is not going to, be serving any purpose. But this is politics that is clearly playing out. That is what the opposition really had to say. Let's go across to my colleague Maria Shakil joining us from right outside the parliament. Maria, what all are we expecting today when it comes to the Rajya Sabha? And take us through the highlights of what the opposition really said. But of course, that bill was still passed despite meeting with all that kind of resistance that we saw from the India Bloc and others.
Yes, because the government has the numbers and that is the reason why it ensured the passage of the bill. But what we saw play out in the Lok Sabha was keeping with the tradition of healthy debates and deliberations that Lok Sabha, the Parliament of India, is meant for. And similarly, we are expecting some good and credible arguments come in also in the Rajya Sabha, because Rajya Sabha is the House of Elders. It's also the House where there are several MPs who also work as lawyers. So these are legal eagles who are also part of the Rajya Sabha. But first up, because the bill was passed around 2:30 a.m., so way past the midnight, and it was a 12-hour long marathon discussion which happened in the Lok Sabha. Let's first listen in to all the reactions which came in soon after the passage of the crucial and contentious Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 in the Lok Sabha.
हमें संतोष है कि ऐतिहासिक निर्णय हुआ है, वक्फ बिल पारित हो गया है और बड़ा सवाल यह है कि वक्फ की संपत्ति जनता के उपयोग में आएगी या कुछ के उपयोग में आएगी। आज के संशोधन से ये गरीब, बेवा, अनाथ बच्चे, महिलाएं, बाकी सबों के लिए इसका उपयोग होगा।
महत्वपूर्ण बिल था और ऐतिहासिक बिल था और एक बहुत बड़ा रिफॉर्म है सबको न्याय देने के लिए, और जो पेंडिंग केसेस है ट्रिब्यूनल में, कोर्ट में, वो सबको एक साथ मुक्ति देके न्याय देने के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा स्टेप, सबके साथ सबके विकास, ये विचार मन में रखते हुए आज प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में आज ये बिल पारित हुआ है।
वक्फ बिल, उम्मीद जिसकी हम बात करते हैं, एक नई आशा है इससे, क्योंकि जो मुस्लिम समुदाय के बच्चे हैं, महिलाएं हैं, वो गरीब मुस्लिम परिवार जिनको इसके लाभ से दूर रखा गया। पिछले 75 वर्षों में 60 वर्ष कांग्रेस की सरकार रही और 1995 के बाद 2013 में जब इसमें संशोधन किए गए तो इतनी ताकतें दे दी गई कि मात्र 200 लोगों के हाथ में है 2 लाख करोड़ रुपए से ज़्यादा की संपत्ति। गरीब मुसलमान भाई और बहनों की भलाई हो गई होती, कांग्रेस ने वो नहीं की, चंद गिने चुने लोगों के हाथ में देकर रखा।
Bill passed narrowly. There was a difference of only 56 votes. The bills passed with yeses being 288, noes being 232. I think we put all the points that the people of India wanted us to put. Right now, we are unhappy with the result, but we will continue to fight to defend the Constitution, to protect the rights of minority institutions, and we're going to make sure and be vigilant that this bill is not misused to create a further law and order situation in the country.
There's only a 50 vote vote gap here, and you realize just how unpopular and how against the public mandate this bill is. And it is only because of the party whip and because of the two allies that they have just managed to get through by the skin of their teeth. It's a very dark day in India's secular democracy, where this government, by sheer brute force, has brought about a bill which is so patently unfair. It is sending a very chilling effect to the Muslim community. Message we are sending to the Muslims in this country is, know your place, we will show you your place.
At the end of the day, the government prevailed by a fairly small majority of about 50 votes. It wasn't, I must say, an easy matter. There were very strong views expressed on all sides of the debate. I myself did not speak in the debate, but I can tell you that as far as Parliament is concerned, a very thorough airing of all the issues was heard.
It was a united NDA, a show of strength with the JDU and the TDP MPs also making a passionate argument for the Waqf Amendment Bill. So certainly, as far as the floor management of the Treasury benches is concerned, it was A-class. But what played out in Parliament was healthy parliamentary tradition of deliberation. Let me bring in Vasudha and ask her. Vasudha, what should we be expecting in the Rajya Sabha today?
Well, Maria, good morning to you and good morning to all our viewers. What I understand is that there's a protocol to parliamentary procedures. When a bill gets passed by the Lok Sabha, it gets reported to the Rajya Sabha, and it's almost for certain that it will be introduced in the Rajya Sabha today, which is why we can expect a replay of what happened yesterday in the Lok Sabha, in the Rajya Sabha today. And like you rightly pointed out, there was a certain level of discourse in the Lok Sabha that was heartening to witness, because there was deliberation, there was also disagreement, but there was also a cordial discussion. There was no walking out, there was no sloganeering. There was, of course, shouting, but there was not really any protest of any kind which disrupted the proceedings of the House. And if you look at the arguments that were made yesterday, the opposition maintained very clearly that this is a bill that's completely anti-constitution. It's unconstitutional in nature, from Congress's Gaurav Gogoi to Haibi Aden to K.C. Venugopal to Asaduddin Owaisi, who made some very strong points, to A. Rajya in the DMK, to Amit Shah, the Home Minister, rebutting all of that, and Minority Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju also dehyphenating this bill from religion, saying that this is just a property reform, this is a land reform, and does not really, talk about Muslims per se. That was important. And if you look at the Congress's argument, they completely centered it around the importance of the Constitution, something that has worked for them politically. Akhilesh Yadav went back to UP politics. He talked about the mismanagement of Kumbh, and K.C. Venugopal very surprisingly talked about how he often goes to Shabarimala. He's been a devotee, an Ayyappa devotee for 35 years. He goes to Guruvayur every month. While Gaurav Gogoi spoke about how the Muslim community has really helped us fight our freedom. So you could see that the Congress speakers had a certain strategy to ensure that they don't come across as completely pro-Muslim, which will not help them electorally, while Asaduddin Owaisi completely stuck to the constitutional procedure, saying that this bill violates Article 26, which guarantees Muslims the rights to administer their own properties. And in fact, the most controversial provision here, Maria, the Waqf by user, Mr. Owaisi said that now the only things that will be safe in this country will be ancient temples, because Waqf by user also does not guarantee protection to monuments, Waqf properties which are already in dispute with government settlement. So that was one argument that he made. But Amit Shah, before he spoke, he clarified a lot of these things. One of the most important things was also the inclusion of non-Muslim members in Waqf councils and also in state Waqf boards. And he said that non-Muslims will not interfere with religious matters of Waqf boards. So clearly, there was a lot of back and forth, and we can expect all of that in the Rajya Sabha today. But of course, newer arguments, and like you said, but a different quality of speakers, because we heard the mass leaders yesterday, and today it is going to be more cerebral, more intellectual. But of course, the deliberation is something that will be interesting to watch out.
All right, Vasudha, thank you for that quick update. Let me bring in the guest now. Mahima Singh is the spokesperson of the Congress. She joins us. We have Tushar Gupta, political analyst, right here with me at Vijay Chowk. We also have Bhaskar Ghosh of the BJP joining us. Tushar, beginning with you. I mean, who do you think was the best speaker yesterday?
That's a tough one, but I think what was heartening to see was that everyone was putting forward their perspective. The people had the choice, looking at their parliamentarians, to understand what the bill was about, what are the deductions they want to take away from specific clauses. But that is how discussions need to happen. I think Kiran Rijiju set the floor really amazingly early up in the morning. then followed by the Home Minister himself. But I was really impressed the clarity with which Kiran Rijiju led the parliament on. I mean, the debate followed after his comments, and finally in the end also he made a very good answer. But I think it was Kiran Rijiju who really stood out yesterday.
Yes, Gaurav Gogoi, Akhilesh Yadav were among the good speakers also on the opposition side, and of course Home Minister Amit Shah again making a very, very passionate argument and responding to all that has been said by the opposition. And what happened, that very nice repartee or that played out between Home Minister Amit Shah and Akhilesh Yadav was almost reminded us of good old days of Parliament when we saw the back and forth play out between Dr. Manmohan Singh, late Dr. Manmohan Singh and late Sushma Swaraj. Let me bring in Bhaskar Ghosh joining us this morning. We also have Maima Singh. Maima, good arguments being made by Gaurav Gogoi. Of course, there was a response that came in from the Treasury benches as well. But I think the argument by the government that this is a land reforms, that the effort is to ensure centralization and transparency in functioning of the board, but that is not to interfere with the religious ideas or the functioning of the board. It is to do with the land. That land grabbing, alleged land grabbing, has to end.
Jai Hind. Maria, in fact, the BJP is best known for its narrative setting. In fact, let me take you back to 2002 when after Godhra in a BBC interview, Mr. Modi was asked, what could you have done better? He said, I would have managed the media better. If it were to happen tomorrow again, I would manage the media better. So the narrative setting is impeccably done by the BJP, and which is what we saw on the floor of the House yesterday. We have been questioning the intent of the BJP. We have been alluding to the BJP's intent of trampling, undermining the constitutional provisions. And that is what is at play here. You see, the BJP is mistaking the parliament house of this country for some dharm sansad. And that is what we are seeing year after year. You know, the communalism taking the center stage in the parliament, the narcissism taking the center stage in the parliament, and the constitutional provisions subsided. Even in this Waqf Amendment Bill, let me remind you and the viewers, Maria, at least 5 constitutional provisions have been undermined. Article 14, Article 15, Article 25, Article 26, Article 30 are directly targeted, through this amendment bill. Nonetheless, they have succeeded, at tabling the bill in the Lok Sabha. Let's see what happens in the Rajya Sabha today. But I would just remind our viewers today that Honorable Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Shri Kiran Rijiju, himself hails from a tribe. And as I have had indicated earlier also on your show, that it doesn't stop here. It is only the beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg. Today it is the Muslim community. Tomorrow it will be the Sikhs, it will be the Christians, it will be the Buddhists, it will be the, SCs, STs, and Mr. Rijiju himself hails from a tribe. I am sure his own people, his own tribe is gawking at his, and not in awe, but in, amazement and astonishment that how is this government, undermining minority rights, and tomorrow it will reach to SCs, STs, to other religions also. So yes, our questions remain the same. We continue to question why was there no clause-to-clause discussion undertaken? Why are they continuing to undermine the constitutional provisions? You have a BJP spokesperson on your show. We would like to hear from him. But I would just say that this is not a healthy trend at all.
Ask him.
Rather a dangerous one at that.
Okay, let me ask him. Bhaskar Ghosh, a quick response on that?
Yeah, Maria, I think the entire world, as well as the entire India, has seen yesterday that till now what the opposition was blaming, that it is a mockery of democracy, is a mockery of constitution. And yesterday, after 12 hours of the thorough discussions, everyone has given enough opportunity to present them their views. It was found that from all angles, this particular bill was the necessity for the country. And the way oppositions are projecting as a religious sentiments or religious angle, and that's only they can do. This is not a religious or religion-related bill. This is a bill which needs, and which is the need of this hour, as to amend the land usage and the poverty alleviation among the Muslims. The bill directly accommodates Section 32, Section 28, Section 6 and 7. I asked my Congress friend in 1995 when the bill was amended, then it was given there's no right to go to the court, can't go to the court. And the right to appeal was totally denied. So how she can say that we have not given the provisions of constitutions? Now, one more thing I must inform to you that the work by users are 4 lakhs and deeds are only 1,081. The Congress panelist who herself is a very prominent lawyer of this country, she will understand that only 1,081 deeds have been registered. The balance is totally unregistered, anonymous. Who is using, how they're using. And see the usage of these entire property of 8.76 lakh acres. And they're fetching a revenue of only 162 crores. What Honorable Home Minister. And I'm thankful to our Kiran Rijiju ji. He has been
Mahima responds on that, and then I bring in Tushar. Mahima, respond to that. Mahima, respond.
Yeah. In addition to what I said earlier about undermining of the constitutional provisions, let me take it further and say not only the constitution, this government is hell-bent on undermining the judiciary also. And thank you to the BJP spokesperson for, making that remark on a Waqf by user, because fiddling with the Waqf by user provision that has stood for long is directly undermining and targeting the judiciary. Exactly what we have been seeing in bulldozer action and other actions undertaken by this government. This government doesn't regard and respect the institutions of the country, but rather stay with them.
Tushar. Okay, both of you have made your point. Early morning, there should not be any on-air bickering. I mean, Parliament has shown that there can be decent arguments without back and forth and, disruptions. The point of land being primary rather than religious sentiments.
Look, Maria, we have to understand that the bill that was passed yesterday in the Lok Sabha has more to do with the real estate. We have to make that differentiation very clear. It's not religion, it's real estate. Now, I'll give you a very interesting mathematical calculation that I did yesterday. When Kiran Rijiju spoke about the income from the Waqf lands, we are looking at around 39 lakh acre worth of lands, and the income is to the tune of 170, 160 crore rupees. A regressive farmer anywhere in India deploying very regressive farming techniques make at least 100 times that money from a single acre worth of land. Now, here's my problem. If the Waqf is indeed managing that land for religious, charitable or any pious purposes, why is the income generation not reflecting that? That is where the reflection should be, and that is why I say we have to also look at how do we unlock the economic capital of the land that is with the Waqf. That's point number one. Point number two, we also have to somewhere talk about Section 40, the arbitrary pass the Waqf had, the section from the 1995 Act that now stands omitted in the new bill. Section 40 said that if the Waqf believes that a certain land parcel belongs to them, they can investigate it, and the decision of the tribunal will be final in that regard. The finality of that tribunal, that has also been removed from the bill. So it's all about unlocking the economic potential of the land, even if it's with the Muslims or with the non-Muslims, anyone. But the Waqf board or the people who are representing the interests of the Waqf, they need to understand that you hold these land parcels maybe for decades, maybe for centuries. It doesn't matter if you cannot unlock the economic capital out of it for the local communities.
For joining us this morning, and thank you to Mahima and Bhaskar Ghosh. That's all from us on this special segment from Vijay Chowk as we wait for the bill to be taken up in the Rajya Sabha. Almost a similar drill of 8 hours of discussion is likely to happen, and that is going to begin roughly around 12 noon. A quick break and then news and updates on the other side.